everyone, and welcome to Helix Cloud Games. My name's Richie, and this is SideQuest, the show where we take a step off the critical path and explore more what the video game world has to offer. On this week's show, I'm joined by the host of the Sounds of Stadia podcast, Mr. Chris.
Stadia Pro. Merry Christmas.
Is that the zinger you told me about before the show?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's the best I could come up with. Stadia Pro.
We'll let him off, guys. He's not well.
I'm not.
This week, we're talking about the best presents that Stadia have given us this year. But first, a quick bit of housekeeping. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon for notifications when all of our great content goes live, such as the Sounds of Stadia podcast. Every single Monday, we're bringing the weekly news roundup on YouTube and podcast services. We have regular Thursday night live streams. We've got some few first looks in the works, so look forward to that coming out. And if you want to support the show and the channel even more, you can for as little as 99p, which gives you early access to SideQuest, supports the channel, you get access to our custom emojis, and special areas of Discord, which we don't promote that often, but there is membership-only areas of Discord. Talking about Discord, there's a link in the description below where you can actually go and write in topic ideas for this very show and just join a bunch of awesome people to talk about Stadia and gaming, whatever else is going on in their lives. Also, remember, you can get this show on as a podcast. I don't promote that enough. I need to start doing it more because people do occasionally ask me about it. So, yes, Chris.
It is up there. Yeah. And more importantly, if you're watching on Spotify, you can now rate this very podcast.
Yes, you can.
So click the three dots, the magic three dots. Click, rate it. You have to listen to us first, but if you're hearing this right now, you are probably already listening. So if you could rate us, that'd be great. It helps other Stadia players find Stadia content. As ridiculous as we may look this week, Merry Christmas and all that. We would appreciate it. So
to all our YouTube watchers, get Spotify out. I know you've got it. Play the show. Even if you've watched it on YouTube already, play the show. You don't have to listen to it, and then rate us after. Give us 5-star. That will help us out a lot.
Speaking of Spotify, before we get into the show and talking about Stadia's presence this year, which we should clarify, it's presents as in gifts, not Stadia's presence. There's a whole other side quest for that conversation.
It's a Christmas themed show. I think they got it.
It's Christmas Eve. We're here to celebrate. And speaking of Spotify, did you have a Spotify wrap up for the year?
I did, but I haven't looked at it yet, actually.
Could you guess what my most listened to song? Again, I don't use Spotify for podcasts. I use Google Podcasts. I mainly use Spotify for playing music around the house and in the car when I'm driving. So just bear that in mind. Any hazard a guess? It was video game related. Was my most played song of 2021.
Oh, I don't know then.
You wouldn't probably be able to guess it.
It's like you listen to a lot of different stuff, so it's.
Yeah, and again,
was it something by Kesha?
No,
you're a massive Kesha
actually,
fan.
You're not far off because it is a shared account with my wife on our Google Home product. So there was like Taylor Swift in there and stuff as well. No, it was the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater soundtrack.
Really?
Was my most played song on Spotify. Again, I listen to music through other means as well. I have a vinyl player and all that. But it was just funny how it showed up and I was like, no way was that the most listened to. But shout out to Snake Eater.
I use Spotify and YouTube kind of interchangeably for music. I think because I don't have Spotify Premium, if I'm like at my desk here and I'm putting some music on while I play a game, I'll probably be using YouTube because it's just easier to quickly type and then the next song I'm after comes on. With Spotify, I have to deal with the adverts because I'm cheap.
Very true. Cheap like Ebenezer Scrooge himself.
And for podcast content, I tend to use YouTube, or occasionally I'll use Spotify as a backup. So when I've been at work, I've been really busy in the labs on my own for the last week, so I've had my earbuds in and I've just been using Spotify for podcast reasons.
Lovely stuff. So to bring it full circle, Richie, what's your favourite Christmas song?
I don't have one. I don't really like Christmas songs. I'm very much a Scrooge. We talked about this last week, actually.
Yeah, probably.
I'm kind of Scroogey with a lot of the Christmas stuff. I like the important stuff, like spending time with my friends and family, having a break from work, that sort of stuff. I don't really care about Christmas songs or decorations and stuff. Like, they just doesn't do much for me. As you sit there in
your Santa hat and your Christmas jumper.
It's a Darth Vader themed jumper. It's different.
Right, so it's dark side themed. Lovely.
I'll get into it a bit, but I don't get into it for like a full month, or some people start in like September, getting into Christmas. Like,
okay. Well, for those
my interest in Christmas kind of builds up in the last few days before it.
Well, not long now, and this episode is live on Christmas Eve. When everyone will be tearing open their Stadia Premier Editions and going, holy shit, Uncle Mike, you got me Billy, Timmy, Mary, everyone else in the family of Premier Edition, you must really love us as a gamer. And he sat there going, haha, little do you know, I've been gifted 10 of these by Stadia themselves this year. For various sales and promotions.
Which, let's be fair, that's a good place to start off the conversation. Stadia giving away free Premier Editions.
Not just one, many Premier Editions. So now what are we doing with this topic, Richie? We're breaking down what?
So it's like all the kind of good things, the unexpected things, some of the good moments that we've had with Stadia over the last year. Mm-hmm. Basically, what are their presents to us over the course of the year? So things like games that we weren't expecting, maybe that have come to Pro, cool new features that are being announced, that sort of stuff. Anything that is kind of a positive thing from Stadia over the last year. Nothing's off limits here.
Nothing's off limits. Right. Without going in any chronological order then, because time makes no sense at all. It's like the North Pole, Richie. Time stands still. Yeah,
I did start trying to go through Stadia sources, news articles chronologically, but then realised it's going to take a long time. So I just went from memory.
Dan Lee and the team put out a lot of solid work all year round, not just at Christmas. If we were to start somewhere, I mean, you said the Premier Editions. They've had some cracking deals on over the year, both on games and hardware, which I think I can't even think how much equipment I've hired. I got a new Chromecast with I got the Chromecast after they announced Stadia was coming to Chromecast with TV. So I guess that's another present for the year, right? Was we finally got Stadia on actually. Chromecast.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's because the Chromecast was launched the previous year. Chromecast with Google TV. They really need. They need to rename it. They still need to rename that.
Chromecast X.
That came out in 2020, but it finally got Stadia in 2021.
Yeah, that was a big shout. It was a big moment. That made me go out and buy one. And honestly, I think the Chromecast with Google TV, just by having the controller alone, it makes it such a better experience than your traditional smart TV. With
having it for a year, and with how many Chromecast Ultras I got lying around, I personally regret my purchase a bit. Because I don't use Google TV. I basically I use it only as a Chromecast.
Yeah.
And then I actually find it's a bit, because it's got the extra menus and stuff to load through, it's a bit more sluggish than a Chromecast Ultra.
Yeah. To be fair, I use it more for just television. Like, we have it upstairs in the bedroom, and my wife just uses it to navigate through all the shows. We don't use it primarily for Stadia, but it was nice to have it, and that was what made me finally invest in getting one. So it was kind of multiple reasons, but it was a nice present. Of course, it should have been there earlier at launch, but it was nice to have. So we should probably caveat that part with, we also had it landing on TVs.
Yes,
which I think is probably the bigger takeaway from this year is LG TVs 2020 and beyond. And I'm sure after Black Friday sales and Boxing Day sales and New Year's sales, the amount of people who we're going to start talking and posting about, I bought a TV and it has a games console built into it. What the hell? I'm really intrigued to see how that's going to kick off.
It's not like the old Sky TV, like crappy games. These actual, it's Cyberpunk, it's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it's Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, it's not quite Tetris with your remote control.
Yeah.
What was the Sky one? Was it Honey Hive, Beehive?
Beehive Bedlam. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, Beehive Bedlam. Yeah,
I was actually trying to think of it, and it was like, it's not coming to my gloss over.
And that was just like a brick breaker game with your remote in a beehive, wasn't it? But now you can play Cyberpunk, FIFA, Assassin's Creed Valhalla with all its Year 2 Ragnarok content on your TV you got in the Black Friday sales or Boxing Day sales.
I've said, and I stand by this, what they need to do to actually really ramp up how much value they're getting that, to really give people a chance to try, because having Stadia on the TV is all well and good, but if you don't have a controller, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Bundle in a controller with them with LG TVs.
Yeah.
Just bundle one in. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it,
if you got a new TV and you're not really that bothered about games, you're just going to say, this is a game service, don't care about, move on. But if you've got a controller that, you might give it a go.
Yeah, swap out all of the Premier Editions. You don't need the Chromecast because you're buying a brand new smart TV. So swap out the cost of the Chromecast and bundle in a controller instead. We know you were giving them away for $22, so they're clearly not worth that much to you as a piece of hardware anymore.
And
sellotape it to the box.
If you can give them away for $22, then if someone buys one game for valued over $22, you've made your money back.
Yeah, that's crunching them business numbers.
That's it. And then you get the 3 months Stadia Pro when you first subscribe to get you into the ecosystem. So that it gives you here's Stadia Pro for 3 months. You're on your new TV, and with bundling that controller in, I really think that is like they just need to take that one more step in that promotion to make it awesome. Because at the moment, it just I think at the moment, because without that controller, it runs the risk of just being shovelware. Yeah, that people go, what's this? I don't want it.
I mean, on your kind of lineup on the LG TVs, by the way, they have like all of the apps are kind of like diagonally sliced across the bottom bar. So you've got Disney, and I think Stadia needs a reason to be in the mix with Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, BBC iPlayer, ITV, Channel 5, all of the Hulu and stuff that you no doubt get in America. If it's beyond the first 8 slices, it's getting pushed off screen, and then if you don't have screen real estate, people don't see it.
And if people don't have a way to interact with that program,
why would you could log into it. Oh, free games. Oh, I can't use my TV remote. I need a separate controller. Yeah, I totally agree. Hey, slap a sticker on where you get a free game code. Imagine a TV bundle that's got the new football season coming up, soccer season, Premier League's TV discount for Amazon football matches included FIFA 22 with Stadia controller.
Yeah, 50% off FIFA 22 or something.
Again, it almost feels like all of the stuff, all the little presents we've got this year could, in 2 different outcomes. One could be all of the planets aligning to a point, Richie, where we're like, right, we've got the games, we've got the hardware, we've got the tech, we've got the things. We just now need the push. And once all those circles align, you want to see the games come through thick and fast. 2022 needs to be about the games now for me. Yeah. And I think with the TV, the hardware, the controller, everything Chromecast, we all know it works fine. We've talked about that to death. Make or break needs to be all of these dots aligning now, so then shit can start firing on all cylinders.
For anyone who's played Stadia, they know it works fine. The people who say, it's terrible latency and stuff, like either it's a problem with their internet or they just haven't tried it. That's my interpretation of events. But then you need the games to
back it up,
be there to go, okay, yeah, it's great tech, but what am I playing on it? That's a question that needs answering. Yeah. But this isn't about the marketing. This is about the gifts. So we touched on it about Stadia Pro. Again, you get if you get your new LG TV, you get your new account. You got Stadia Pro for 3 months. We've had some decent games come on Stadia Pro this year.
I'd probably say the best year. I mean, I know we've only got 2 to compare. But we've had we've had I guess 3 years, but we've had 2 entire years at this point. Like the 2 12-month
2019 was Destiny 2, Samurai Showdown, Tomb Raider, Definitive Edition, and Farming Sim.
Not bad few months, but
but that was it.
Yeah,
we've had 2 full years,
stack by stack, side by side ones, and what have we had this year?
The standouts for me, I mean, there's a few personal standouts that I haven't put on this list because I've used Stadia Pro to try games that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise.
Yeah, same.
Ace 8 is probably the top of that list for games that I would have probably just not touched if I didn't decide to make a first look and then really found myself enjoying it. Killer Queen Black that's another one that's me shout out. But I think the biggest Resident Evil 7, Jedi Fallen Order, and Control, because they're genuinely 3 massive games.
Yeah, I'm just looking now at our good friend InLead Stadia Pro Games Monitor, as I quite often do. And
anytime I need to talk about pro games, I pull it up.
Go check it out on Twitter. But yes, if I look back at 2020, the standout games to like titles for me, like what I would class as big titles, there was Hitman, but even then that was Hitman 1, so it was quite an old game at the time. Metro, again, old game at the time. And then as we got towards Christmas,
Celeste was a good get. It's an indie game, but it's so well received. It's like
Hitman 2 in December if we're looking right at the cutoff, but nothing on the level of kind of 2021. We got Formula 1 2020 to kick things off. We got some more indie games. We got an exclusive in Pac-Man Megatunnel Battle. Don't forget that. We've got then we got obviously the Resi drop, Biohazard 3 the month before Village arrived, which is just a perfect 1-2 punch of like, he's an epic game, AAA title, just in time, for like kind of summer period to really, really hype up the energy for, guess what, Village, day and date, here we are. Yeah. AAA, best horror game of the year nominated, and no doubt it'll win a bunch of Game of the Year awards. And for all those thirsty people out there after the Vampire Lady, all there. And then, yeah, the month after we got Jedi Fallen Order, so like just in time. It was obviously out on the platform just in time for Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Like, of all the platforms out there, Google Stadia gave you the best Star Wars game in many, many years for free with Pro. That's a better deal than any other platform did for May the 4th, if you ask me. And that's great. That's the testament to how much better Pro's got these last 12 months. And I hope 2022 either improves on that or just keeps up at the same rate, because it's been a great year for Pro.
I want to shout out Wreckfest, because we've had some good fun playing Wreckfest. It's a December game.
Yep.
But yeah, and like you got the Falconeer Warrior Edition, a game I yet to play, but I intend to over my Christmas break.
So many things. It does beg
Mafia
the question.
free.
No. We're not going to do that here. We're not going to.
That was just a joke between us. I just saw it on the list
between us and the entire Helix Cloud Games followers, because they know.
But we got it.
We got a third of what we were told. We're doing it. See, that's what we're doing. Moving on.
Yeah. Okay.
Control. We got Control.
Yeah, Control
Ultimate Edition. As much as I give them shit for. Again, not Stadia. This is totally on 505 and Remedy for their botched way of handling the next gen upgrade Ultimate Edition DLC season pass crap.
Yeah, I forgot.
It's still one of my favourite games of the last 5 years, and we got it for free.
Yeah,
awesome.
Controllers again. A game it didn't properly click with me, but I appreciate it.
Oh
yeah. It just didn't seem to click. I think it's one of them games. I was never seem to be in the right mood to play this game, so it just doesn't really sink its claws into you. But I know for a fact I'm playing a really good game here. Like,
you know what I'm going to do? Yeah. I'm going to look at again Stadia Pro Games Monitor. You can filter out months that you don't want. I'm going to filter out all the games for 2020 right now, Richie.
Yeah.
I'm going to convert it to Great British Pound, because that's pardon me, that's the currency we use. And just to give you an idea of sheer value, if the calculator works, the average value is £22.21 per game, and the average Metacritic score is 77. And we were given 60 titles. That was for 2020. I'm just going to quickly untick all those games, just going through the months, and I'm going to apply the same thing to this year. 2021. I'm just going through the months. There we go, December. So £22.21 was the average GBP per game. It was 77 Metacritic. If we apply that to this year, that jumps up to £24.39 on average, and the Metacritic is 76. But we got about 20 more pro games at the same time. So we got more games, so a bigger pool, more value per pound, and the Metacritic's about the same. So solid consistency, but I think just good value. For your £8.99 a month.
Yeah,
great value. Great. I haven't touched barely any of my PlayStation Plus games this year.
I haven't touched any. I don't think I've played a single PlayStation Plus game this year. In fact, for the first half of this year, I don't think I've really touched my PlayStation 5.
Why was that? Because you were playing...
Because I went through an RPG binge, which is still going on. Mm-hmm. But that kicked off because of the stuff coming to Stadia earlier in the year. Things like East, like Dragon Quest. They're games that I decided to jump into because they came to Stadia that I probably wouldn't have done. And now I'm currently playing Tales of Arise on PlayStation 5.
Because it's not where?
Because I ran out of games. I ran out of JRPGs and Stadia that I wanted to play.
Exactly. So we know games make or break things.
Yeah.
And I really, really want a big year for 2022. But yeah, you can't deny some of the announcements we've had this year. Again,
I think the Pro library is quite varied. It's good value. I think it could have done with a few more AAAs.
Certain months were lacking. I think we can agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, if things like there's only 3 standouts: Resident Evil 7, Jedi Fallen Order, and Control. That I think everyone would agree universally the standouts.
Yeah.
But
in comparison, all the others are exactly the same. Like all the others have rubbish months, good months, bad months. People complain in the comments all the time. But I think comparing last 2018, what the hell am I talking about? 2020 to 21, it's a marked improvement. And I think as long as it's got that trajectory or it stays the same, we should be happy.
Yeah, with Stadia Pro, I think there's definitely value there. On an individual basis, you might look at the games that month and go, oh, it's not there for me, but not every game's for everyone. And that's just the reality of it. PlayStation Pro is exactly the same.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got Direct Touch.
We did, yeah. We saw Stadia branch out into some of the promised features that we were told about originally. It arrived. It's still arriving. I think I said on the podcast this week that 100 Days is going to receive touch input hopefully by now, actually. If you're watching this on Christmas Eve, the dev tweeted out last week saying touch input for 100 Days, which is a pro game to claim. So if you haven't played it, winemaking simulator, run your own vineyard, you can do it through touch input on your phone. Hopefully now. It was going through testing on the 21st, I think.
I really like Direct Touch, especially because you can play Stadia on any platforms. Like, I played Humankind and Direct Touch for a couple of hours on my phone. Unfortunately, although I have quite a large phone, I think there's some problems with UI scaling and but if I was using an iPad or like a full-on tablet or something, that Direct Touch would have been so much better experience. It's like it was responsive and stuff. It's just things like the buttons and stuff were a bit too small on the phone. Yeah.
And actually, I had a bit of a moment earlier on today when I was out for lunch for a Christmas meal with the wider part of my family. And I don't have many children in my family yet, but I do have two kind of like half nieces, half nephews. I don't know what the family tree looks like for that. But I think one's about 6-year-old, one's about 3-year-old. Sorry for getting that wrong. But during the meal, once everyone had wrapped up, and naturally kids get their iPads out now and sit and play. And she's a little girl. She was playing some kind of Barbie game. And I looked over, and at first I genuinely thought she was playing Grand Theft Auto, just because of the way that the UI was laid out. And she was driving a car through like a really low res thing, and I thought, it's a Grand Theft Auto mobile port. Glanced over, it wasn't. She was playing some kind of Barbie world simulation thing. But the way she was navigating the touchscreen controls, like we hate them. Just the analogs, the fictional analog stick on the side, or the virtual, not fictional. And the input controls. She was driving around, she was getting out, she was editing her character, she was dragging and dropping with her finger, she was swiping through the menus. She's like 6. Yeah. And then I had that moment where, obviously, I don't have children, I know a lot of our viewers and audience do, but the way she was intuitively using that interface, I said to my wife, I was like, I hate touchscreen controls, but look at that as a young child who's playing video games with no context other than she sat having fun on a giant iPad screen. And she was using those touchscreen controls better than I think. I don't have the dexterity to use them as good as she was.
I hate touchscreen controls when it's an emulated gamepad. When it's direct touch, so I press a thing and that thing activates, like it is on Humankind with direct touch. If I click on a unit, it selects that unit. It works intuitively how you'd want it to work. 100 Days will be the same when you're dragging your cards into your vineyard. You'll just drag it into where it needs to be, so it's very intuitive. Emulated gamepads, they just don't feel good. They're awkward to use because you don't have the proper grip on your phone that you would for a controller. Your fingers are getting in the way of the visuals. I just think crap.
I agree. But then looking at that from the perspective of a child who's new, she's probably never held the game controller. Her dad doesn't have a games console as far as I'm aware. So to her, in her house, that is video gaming, and it's just like I had this kind of just like epiphany moment where I was like. Yeah, like Stadia doesn't. Again, everyone says, "Oh, they've been around 2 years and they've not done enough." She's 6. By the time she's 10, 11, 12, Stadia will have been around for 7, 8 years at that point. Like, think of how different it might be several Christmases from now. But it was one of those moments where I was kind of sat just like admiring her playing video games, thinking it's cool that she's playing games. Yeah. Albeit it's probably a crappy Barbie like lifestyle simulator.
A cheap cache-in, probably full of crap. But
it was probably a free download on a mobile device that required no new hardware. Guess what Stadia has? Free to play games on any device you own, no additional hardware. Yeah. There's your shoe in the door. Merry Christmas.
I tell you what Stadia's missing, a Fireman Sam game. My nephews are big into Fireman Sam.
Hey mate, have you not checked out Ember?
Well, I've checked it out. I've checked it out on stream, but like
Check
an
it out.
actual
Touch controls.
So I'm thinking like something like Paw Patrol. Is it Outright Games? Like,
yeah, Outright.
They need a Fireman Sam game. I think my nephews would love that. I'm
sure there's one in the pipeline if it doesn't already exist somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, touch controls. I think, especially with direct touch, because I think anyone who's got any experience playing games probably agrees with us that touch controls, emulated gamepad, pretty bad. But if you haven't experienced it, but it's getting the next generation of gamers into, and that seems to be a big part of the strategy in the second half of the year. But I think we're getting off topic in this off-topic show.
Okay, so let's bring it back around to I'd say one of the most undeniable presents we got this year.
The search bar.
I'm saying that both ironically and as a matter of fact. We got a search bar.
We did. We asked for it and we got it. It shows they're continuing to support the UI and make some improvements. On the same vein, they changed up the Explore tab.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think they should have left it as is until it was ready, because the Explore tab I think is just kind of incredibly bare bones.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the Explore tab in.
It's just a dumping ground of people's screenshots, but there's no way to really interact with them.
Yeah,
but in the future, things like State Share could be very powerful through the Explore tab. If you're able to filter things more, you're able to only show things from your friends, or people are able to start like putting likes and comments against stuff, like turn it into a built-in semi-social media platform in Stadia.
Yeah. And this is the thing, the bigger picture that a lot of people miss. Like, I know we laugh at them, and yes, it's a joke that the search bar wasn't there from the beginning, and a bunch of other things. But long term, thinking of all these like improvements and features and tweaks and stuff, it's a long road ahead. And I think with the amount of money that's gone into YouTube gaming, Twitch, the games industry in a whole is only going to get bigger year on year, and lockdowns maybe increase that a little bit with more people being in the home for longer and new generations coming through. But honestly, I think it's just the beginning, and I think all the little things we've had this year, all the little things we'll have next year, just the beginning.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a glass ceiling in the gaming industry at the moment where Stadia, unfortunately, underneath it, and I think that next year they need to break through that. They need to break through back into people's consciousness and going, well, one of the points I put down as a semi-joke is it's not dead. Yeah. Like, the platform is still here, it still works, they're still supporting it with new stuff all the time. Maybe not to the extent we like, but they still are.
Yeah. And let's face it, the social media presence is like, that's what it is. It's just the presence within a little silo of people who go on Twitter.
And it has improved this year. Yeah. They've made some missteps, but in general, the social media presence is better from the Stadia team this year.
Yeah, completely. We won't talk about 12 Days of Stadia, but you know what that's about. But honestly, if you just took our friend group, Richie, bunch of 30-something-year-olds, some married, some have kids, some have full-time jobs, all that kind of stuff. In Stadia, there's maybe us, obviously me, you, and Tom, and I'd say 2 others who use it, and that's probably by proxy of us. But the rest of them, they're not really clued into the gaming industry. How many of them have heard or have used Amazon Luna? None. How many have heard or used GeForce Now? None. What about Shadow PC? None. How many of them even have a top-end PC? None. How many of them have a PlayStation Xbox? Probably, but how many of them have a brand new PS5? Not many of them. How many have a Series X? Not many of them. So we go around and round in circles about how Stadia's not done this, or cloud gaming, everyone's making moves and stuff. It's so early doors. It doesn't matter right now, I don't think. Obviously it matters, you know what I mean. Like, I just think we're in such its infancy with everything from hardware to tech to marketing to pushes. More can always be done. But when it boils down to it, I don't think there's like... I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to even get to as a conclusion. You summarise it for me.
I think what they need to do is that the building for the long term, but they're not inspiring confidence in the short term, and that's where the negative narrative comes from. Google is why last week we were talking about what we want to see Stadia do for marketing reasons next year. It's because I think they need that push they need to break the narrative around Stadia to get people back on board and get people who know the platform's good,
Yeah.
But looking at it and going, do Google care about it? You need to get these people back in.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do it with the current approach.
Yeah. It's almost, if you to put a sports analogy on it, it's almost, you've got a run of fixtures, games to play, and you know you've got good players, but you're going to field a weakened team because you know the important games are coming up in the future.
Yeah.
So Stadia know they've got the good tech. They're happy to ship it out to other people, to free agents and people in the transfer window. But they're not going to field the star players yet because they're going to save them for, fingers crossed, a solid push in 2022. When Luna come out swinging maybe and say we're going global, Stadia are going to go counteract that with something else. Google are going to go, right, our financial year ends in March, April. Now is the year we double down and invest big time on titles and games and everything else.
Yeah.
But we just don't know now because
if we're using tortured sports metaphors, Google Stadia at the moment are 17th in the Premier League, but there's a lot of rumours about the teams in 20th, 19th and 18th about making January signings, and there's not much coming from Google. So it's looking like, so if the fans of that 17th place team going like, they're looking like they're going to be signing all these players. If they do, we're going to drop into the relegation zone.
Yeah.
When you need it's when you're looking at the owners going, you know what, you need to pull your checkbook out here, otherwise you're going down.
Especially when the owners are multi-billionaires and they have the funds to do so.
The club, if it goes down, it'll be fine. It's still going to exist.
Yeah.
But then it's going to be harder to get back up. Sometimes it's worth putting the investment in now to stay in the mix.
Yeah. These sports analogies. Like, you want to be up there. You want to be in the Premier League top tier division with PlayStation, Xbox and Switch. However, at the moment...
They don't need to be Champions League yet, but they do need to be comfortably mid-table. But at the moment, they're in a relegation fight.
Yeah.
And they're not making any... There's no rumours about incoming transfers.
Yeah. So let's take the sports analogy, and for those who don't like sports out there, let's switch over to baking. You have all the ingredients. Make the damn cake!
Yeah.
Make the damn cake. It's Christmas. We're hungry. Get baking, Stadia, for 2022 and beyond. For all those Great British Bake Off fans out there.
Well, is there any more presents you think? This has been a weird episode.
No, I know. Not really. Again, it's the end of the year, Richie. We're going to take some time off. People should definitely hang around for next week's SideQuest with a very special guest. And just enjoy the presents you've got. Enjoy your 50 Premier Editions. Enjoy playing some games you might treat yourself to. Game gifting should be something that comes next year. I know they teased it as part of the Stadia 12 days. Just a little tease. I'd love this time next year. We're sat here going, Richie, for Christmas, I'd like to give you a code for FIFA 23 or something, and then give you an email link with a QR code. I'll do it on the business accounts, don't worry. But you get my gist.
For Christmas, Richie, I'm letting you buy a game.
Yeah, I'll allow it. But again, to summarise, I guess the reality is, have fun, play games, enjoy Christmas, and just don't sweat it. Google have got this. They have the money. They know stuff needs to change, and we just now have to sit back and wait for the new year when hopefully they tell us about it. Yeah,
but that's all we have time for this week. I don't know where I was going with that. I was going to say this year, but I was like, no, we've got another episode to come out this year, so then I got messed up. But that's all we have time for this week. If you've liked the video, make sure you hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications when all our stuff goes live, like our live streams, like the Sounds of Stadia podcast, like our first looks, like when me and Chris decided to jump back into Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Something we weren't expecting to do. You can support us from as little as 99p as a YouTube member. Follow us all on Twitter at HelixCloudGames, at CyberChris2077, at RichieC89, and at AdaxisLP. If you've got any topics you want us to discuss in January, get yourself into the link in the description to get in our Discord and chat with some awesome people. And with that, I've been Richie.
I've been Chris.
We've been Helix Cloud Games. Quest completed.